Hello, guys. Welcome back to Dirty Martini. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having an amazing day. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, please do so. It is the most important episode I have created to date. But to sum it up quickly and to make it explicitly clear, yet once again, please don't support genocide, ceasefire, and free Palestine. As for today's episode, I have so much to tell you that I don't even know where to begin, so I will just start talking about everything in no particular order, and if it all sounds messy, well, deal with it. I just woke up from the first nap I was able to take in months, and I don't know how, but I woke up even more tired than I was before I fell asleep. I have not been able to sleep properly recently. My entire regime, my entire day-to-day schedule is so messed up. Prior to me starting my thesis, I was so consistent, and I don't know if you remember, but I told you I was in my grandma era with going to bed around or even before midnight every day and waking up early in the morning. This is not the case anymore. And now I've started going to bed around 2 a.m. and then again waking up early in the morning, well, around 8 or 8:30-ish, because I have so much things to do. And because of this, I'm just chronically tired. And I never get enough sleep, not even on the weekends. And it's just so frustrating. I think it is all because of the stress I'm currently under. Every single night I have terrible nightmares, which isn't making things easier. And once I have the energy and honestly the ability to put it into words, I will explain to you everything that is going on in my head beyond the day-to-day, which I think is causing my inability to sleep properly. But until that moment comes, until I'm able to fully comprehend and verbalize it, just please trust me. I am tired. I just want to hibernate for 20 hours. I want to sleep so deep that my mom comes into my room to check on me if I'm breathing. I want to be asleep a concerning amount of time. I want to sleep so well that I'm stocked up on sleep for at least the 3 days after. And trust me, that is the first thing that I'm going to do the second I submit my final assignment of the bachelor's. I know in the future, I will be looking at those times that I'm currently in with nostalgia, because I will have forgotten about the stress, because that is how my brain works. And I know I will romanticize the hell out of this, out of being in university. But as of now, I'm so looking forward for all of this to be over and for me to finally be able to take a breath. Not even a deep one necessarily, just a shallow breath will suffice at this point. Because it feels like I've been holding my breath for the last few months nonstop. Not to get depressive, of course. But anyways, at least I know I can get back my ability to nap, which is refreshing and reassuring, because I couldn't nap for months and I missed it so much. There is some differences between napping and actually going to sleep. And a nap, even though it's shorter, it feels sweeter, it feels more fulfilling. So yeah, I don't know. Today's nap wasn't planned, it just happened. I was having lunch in my bed, watching a Mia Maples YouTube video, as one does. And then I just somehow fell asleep and woke up an hour later. And I feel it just happened because my body literally shut off from exhaustion, like build up exhaustion. Or it could be because I'm in Bulgaria, and not to be a nationalist or anything, but Bulgaria just hits so much better than the Netherlands. And I said what I said. I'm so excited to be back home, even if it's just for a few days. I flew in the other day because I got invited to a wedding, and I'm so excited because I've never been to a wedding before, and the fact that it is the wedding of a person I basically grew up with makes it much more special for a first wedding. So it is actually tomorrow, the wedding, and today I was out and about trying to find shoes for the event, and I walked into this store and I literally saw the couple. I'm not going to lie to you, I was listening to a podcast, shout out Giggly Squad, and I was so invested in some story that they were telling that I was absolutely unaware of my surroundings, which isn't the safest thing to do, especially as a woman if you're going out at night. But it was the day, so, and yeah, I was unaware of my surroundings, and then the groom just came up dangerously close to me and just stood there. And I didn't register that it was him, so I thought, who the hell is being so ignorant right now and is taking up so much space of my personal space? And it took me a few seconds to realize what is going on. And when I tell you that for whatever reason, I got super scared and almost had a heart attack, like, we laughed it off, but I swear I thought I'd die in the middle of the dairy aisle. Which, honestly, Bulgarian yogurt and cheese are the best in the world, and I wouldn't mind dying in their presence. But that is another topic. Let's just say that if you've never had Bulgarian dairy products, then you've never had proper dairy products. So I got so excited to see the soon to be married, because also it is the first time I'm actually meeting the bride, and I'm so happy that I got to meet her before her actual wedding, because imagine how weird it would be to go to someone's wedding and introduce yourself as you congratulate them. And she's just so lovely and kind, and I cannot even wait for tomorrow. I'm so excited. And so shout out to my mom for asking me to buy yogurt so that I can meet the bride, I guess. Another reason I'm really happy to be back in Bulgaria is that here, unlike in the Netherlands, it is already summer. It is literally 28 degrees, and I only packed skirts, shorts, and tank tops because it is supposed to go up to 35. I kid you not, the other day when I was in the Netherlands, I wore my winter jacket. A winter jacket in June. That country just doesn't know how to do summer properly. It has been so windy and rainy there, and honestly, when it rains, it pours, and I just couldn't wait to get out of there at least for a little bit. But the cherry on top, and here there's no pun intended, but the cherry on top for my coming back to Bulgaria is the fact that cherry season is in full mode. Also, the fact that I will be here for my dog's 10th birthday, which I'm super excited about. But as for my neighbor's cherries, they're the best cherries ever known to humanity. And as someone who has eaten a fair share of cherries in their life, I can attest to this. And I'm not lying to you. The second I got home, it was already 11 p.m. and I had just traveled for 15 hours straight. It had just rained heavily and I just went to grab some cherries because they're that good. And every single empty second I have, I spend in my neighbor's yard eating his cherries. They're the type of cherries people have wet dreams about. I have warned everyone in the Netherlands that I will be unrecognizable when I go back. I plan on being a literal Bella Hadid because, eating lots and lots of cherries just, to make it more subtle, it just cleanses you. Okay, and one last thing which excites me to be back in Bulgaria is the fact that it takes my skin 3 to 4 days of being here to clear up. And my skin when I'm in the Netherlands, especially recently, has been quite irritated. So being here is just a saving grace. I have been having so much painful acne all over my neck and the lower part of my face. And I don't mean to sound cocky, but I usually have clear skin purely because I have good genetics on both sides. I have never struggled with acne that significantly, knock on wood. So, my body is undergoing significant stress and just unusual times when I have such terrible and painful acne. It could also be hormonal. I don't know. I'm not an expert and I'm not really well versed on the topic, but I just know that the air and the food quality in the part of Bulgaria where I'm from are simply superior. So I'm looking forward to my skin calming down because it is so infuriating. You know what? Now that I'm talking about all of this, I will do a quick break and go steal some more cherries from my neighbor. Be right back. Okay, that was a delicious little break. But not going to lie to you, I ended it before I wanted to. But only because I saw someone walking towards the trees and I just ran as if my life depended on it. Like, no need for someone to see me steal cherries. Anyways, now let me tell you about my experience with traveling this time because, as per usual, there's stuff to say. First of all, I was so excited to be coming back home that I couldn't sleep at all the night before. I haven't had that excitement about traveling in a long, long time. And usually it is excitement for when I'm going somewhere new. And now feeling this feeling because I'm going home was just far more special. And then I had one of the most, even if not the most emotional train rides of my entire life. I went on the train and I was listening to Noah Cyrus. And you know what? I'm done gatekeeping the end of everything, the song, like the album as well, but like the end of everything, the song. If you haven't listened to it and you want your heart twisted, eaten up, chewed, and then spit out, then that is the song for you. You're welcome. So yeah, I was listening to this, and outside it was very gloomy, and the sky was so heavy with clouds, and I just couldn't help but start bawling my eyes out. I have been going through a lot of stuff emotionally, with the least of them being sending my best friend away because she moved back to the United States, and then us having our last lecture just the other day, and basically graduating and growing up and separating and blah, 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 blah. I won't get into it right now because if I do, I won't be able to stop sobbing for days. I choose to live in delusion until I have to deal with it. But please, don't do as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. Because the thing I'm doing currently to deal, quote unquote, with my emotions is pure self-sabotage. So yeah, anyways, back to the train. So I'm in the middle of the train wagon crying, trying to keep quiet because it was 9 a.m. on a random Tuesday morning. Like, that was unnecessary of me to do, but oh well, happens to the best of us. And to try and hide it, I just pulled out some snacks from my bag and started eating so that I can focus on something else because I just couldn't deal with emotions in that point. Okay, you know what? I will give you my pro tip. It is the thing I swear by, and I have tested it over the years, and trust me, it has never, ever, ever failed me. Ever. So, if you're going through a hard period and you don't want to feel your emotions, you don't want to face reality, which, again, I don't recommend, but let's be real, we've all been there. We just don't have the energy to deal with our problems and struggles, so we just postpone them as much as possible. They're a problem for future us. Okay, so here's what you do. Every time you're about to have a mental breakdown, or you're having a mental breakdown, and you're uncontrollably crying, just play Gasolina by Daddy Yankee. I promise you, I don't know the science behind this, but it is true. It is physically impossible to cry while listening to that song. So that is my go-to when I'm going through a hard time. Basically, what I'm trying to say is be concerned about me not when my top song on Spotify is Fine Line by Harry, because that means I would have decided to deal with my problems, to deal with my emotions, to face everything as it comes. But be absolutely worried and take it as a beg for help when my top song on Spotify is Gasolina. Anyways, back to the traveling part. So, I don't know how it is with you, but I was made to believe that if I don't go to the airport at least 7 days prior to my flight, I will miss it. Okay, people always say, be there at least 3 hours before, blah, 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 blah. Now, time and time again, this myth has been disproven in my personal experience at least. And I always end up waiting at the airport an ungodly amount of time. So now, because of this, I just go to the airport at most an hour and a half prior to my flight. And if I miss it, I miss it. It is what it is. Also, I don't care about finding an airport crush anymore. I don't care about smelling every single perfume in the duty-free zone. I don't care about going to the toilet 17 times before my flight just because. I don't care. Now, I don't know if I would recommend this, but it just works for me. I just love getting in and out of the airport and not spending my entire life there. I love going through security and just making my way to the gate because boarding is about to start or it has already started. I just honestly couldn't care less at this point when it comes to traveling. Nobody talks about this, but flying and traveling in general from one country to another is exhausting. Even if all that's required of you is to be sat in a seat, like, it is so emotionally and mentally draining and stressful that you feel physical exhaustion afterwards. I don't feel the thrill anymore of flying. I remember the first few times I flew, I would just sit in my seat praying that we don't crash, that, that everything goes smoothly. Now, I honestly couldn't care less. I just want to be in and out as soon as possible. Just take me where I need to go. If we don't crash, that is a bonus. So, let's just say it like this. Let me put it into perspective. I only check if my passport is in my bag before I leave, and not 300 times like I used to do. If I don't have it on me and I'm denied traveling, if I'm denied boarding, then so be it. That's my bad. But I just don't care. But anyways, even when it is not exciting as a journey, there is always something happening when I travel, because that is just my luck. So this time was my first time traveling from the Netherlands to Bulgaria since Bulgaria joined Schengen, at least by air and sea. And let me tell you, the experience as a Schengen member is totally different than that of a non-Schengen member. So, prior to our entry in Schengen, I used to always fly from this one particular gate in the very end of the airport, a gate forgotten even by God. And to get there, first you need to go through passport control, after which there's literally just a vending machine and 10 plastic chairs. So you can see why I didn't want to spend 3 hours there. Now, I never knew that this is not the case for everyone who flies from that airport. Until this time. Now that we're in Schengen, at least partially, I flew from a different gate, which was on the second floor of the airport, which I didn't know existed. And because I have never had to go there before that, it was an entirely new experience to me. And boy, was it different than what I'm used to. So you get on this escalator, which takes you to the second floor, and there is no passport control. They are just the gates. And you just scan your ticket, and a crew member checks your ID as you get on the plane. Anyways, so I'm new to this, and I'm new to this gate. And there are restaurants, there are sofas and armchairs, there are dedicated rooms with window walls where you could go, sit, and do some work at a desk. You can charge your phone, you can charge your laptop. Schengen members get charging points. Not to say that this is classist and discriminatory, but hello? As a non-Schengen member, I need to fight for 10 plastic chairs and go to the vending machine to eat a packet of chips, which only God knows the expiration date of. I'm just now wondering, how many other things have we been deprived of? Like non-airport related. Guess I'll just see. So at the airport, I was already standing for more than 30 minutes. And this girl got up and I just headed towards her seat, towards her armchair. And then this babushka, the Lightning McQueen she is, ran. And I mean, she's a runner, she's a track star. But like, girly pop ran even with her elbows and just sat on the seat under my nose. It was like we were playing musical chairs. Bestie, had I seen you, had I known where you're heading, I would have given you the seat. No need to almost get yourself into a cardiac arrest for it. Like, can you imagine how terrifying it must be to see a grandma run across the airport? Like, is that a safety hazard? For all of us? Or just for her? And then, when boarding started, and I think I've mentioned this before, but if I haven't, I'll just say it now as well, just in case. So, when it comes to boarding, I wait until there's less people to go on board because I don't see the point of queuing for boarding when there's literally assigned seats. Okay, maybe for overhead space to put your luggage, to put your carry-on, but I was just traveling light with only a backpack, so there was no point for me to be in a hurry whatsoever. So yeah, I just joined the queue like in the last possible moment. And well, I don't know if you're familiar with how queues work, but when you join a queue, you go all the way to the back. I think that's what's usually socially acceptable. So that is what I did. I went to the back of the line. And then that same babushka ran as if her life depended on it and cut everyone from the line. And of course, with my luck, she was sitting next to me. And I don't mean to be a hater, but Granny didn't smell nice. I mean, Girlie had just ran a marathon, so that's understandable, but still. And it just kept on hitting me in the face the entire flight because the AC was positioned in such an angle that it was literally blowing her aroma in my direction. And when I tell you I have never been more appreciative to get off a plane and take a deep breath, a deep fat breath, please believe me. The thing is, our flight got delayed by 50 minutes because they were waiting for confirmation from Brussels that we're allowed to depart because apparently there was a lot of air traffic. And the second I got into my seat, I put on some Taylor Swift Folklore Evermore vibes, and basically I passed out. I was exhausted. And when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, that was such a short flight and such a smooth flight. I didn't feel when we departed. I didn't feel when we landed. I can't believe we're already in Sofia. Yeah, because we weren't. We hadn't departed yet. So that was annoying because I couldn't fall asleep again for the rest of the flight, but oh well, what can you do? That flight genuinely made me realize why rich people fly private. I'm not saying I support it, but I definitely understand it now. If I could afford to be comfortable, I won't lie to you, I would consider it. I'm not saying that I will do it, that I would do it, because it is totally unsustainable, but I see the appeal now. The thing is, I have never flown with a non-budget airline. I always fly with Wizz Air or Ryanair, simply because I cannot afford to do anything of a higher caliber. But that flight was probably my most inconvenient one. Wait, before I say this, I need to bring everyone's attention to something. Those airlines are not made to accommodate larger people. I am pretty average when it comes to my physique, and I felt too constrained. So this is a pressing issue that needs to be tended to immediately. That is discriminatory, non-inclusive, and my heart goes out to old people for whom those seats are too small, because I can imagine that this could make them feel awful and uncomfortable. So to all my Wizz Air and Ryanair besties, I believe in you. My faith is all in you that you can do better. Now, yeah, PSA over. The thing is, I do have claustrophobia, which could also be a big contributor, but let me tell you. So, I had an aisle seat, which, to be honest, is the place to be on a flight. But the thing is, when the flight attendants started their round with the food and later with the non-food items for sale, they stopped for a good solid 10 minutes right next to me. And I know that it was 10 minutes because I was listening to All Too Well 10-minute version. Like, what can someone be purchasing for 10 minutes on a plane? Anyways, if you've never been on a flight, those cards that the flight attendants push around, they're metal or something like this. Like, I actually don't know the material exactly, but they're very solid through and through, in the sense that there aren't open shelves or anything. It's basically like a big, again, metal block on wheels. And that thing being millimeters away from me while I'm already struggling with the small seat just sent me down into a spiral. Just the thought of me being closed within a small space where I could potentially not be able to stretch my legs all the way is terrifying to me. So I could feel the panic attacks setting in, and I just turned up my music and forced my eyes shut until they left, because I was trying to distract myself as much as possible. I don't want to think what could have happened if I had a full-on claustrophobic attack on that flight. I swear, when I have those, I am not me anymore. I start screaming, crying. Okay, that does sound like me, but like I also start kicking and punching, trying to get out. And let's just say that would have not been a pleasant thing to do on a plane. So maybe I should start booking seats on the emergency rows where I would have 10 centimeters more. I don't know, but I thought I'd share this because this is something we should raise awareness about. And if you see someone struggling on a flight because they feel claustrophobic, don't brush it off. Try and help them to calm down, but ask them how they want you to approach the situation. Don't go out on a limb and guess, because you could make the situation much worse. Also, my hip hurt like a bitch the entire flight, and so did my lower back. Guys, I'm getting old. No, but genuinely, the pain was everything I could focus on. And you know how when you think about, for instance, your headache, it just gets worse and worse, and it's everything you can think about. Yeah, that was me, but with my hip and my lower back for 3 hours straight. I swear my fight or flight was turned on the entire flight. So yeah, I couldn't move anywhere. And I'm telling you, the stride I did after I got off the plane was a stride of relief. That was actually the second time I've been to the airport that week. A few days ago, I went to Amsterdam to send away my friend, the one who moved back to the US. This was my first time being on the sending away side instead of being the one who's sent away. And why did nobody tell me that this is such a heartbreaking experience? Like, it sucks to see someone leave. I swear, airports are simultaneously the happiest and the saddest places on earth. Like, they're happy because you could be welcoming someone you love, but at the same time, there's something that just punches you in the stomach with a metal hammer when you send someone away. And don't get me wrong, I am happy she's home and with the people she loves because that's what she wanted. But there is this egoistic part of me which wanted her to stay. And it's very difficult for me to comprehend still the fact that she's no longer just a 15-minute just a 15-minute walk away from me, and not an entire ocean is between us. And I cannot just ring her up to grab ice cream down the block. So that sucks. But I'm in food denial. And I know this is something I will pay for in the future. But until I have to deal with this, I will be listening to Gasolina. Once I realize what's going on and come to terms with reality, I will let you know. And hopefully, we'll be able to give you advice on how to navigate the situation. But until then, I will be living in my delusions and you go live in yours. As the prophecy says, staying Delulu is the Sululu. After we sent her away, my other friend and I decided to walk around in Amsterdam. I mean, we were already there, so why not? First, we sat by a canal or something, well, like a body of water by the central station, and I saw the biggest yacht I have ever seen in my entire life. That thing was ginormous. It was half of the building, it was parked next to. The verb for water vehicles is not parked. Anyways, I don't know how much it was in meters because we didn't go up to it like up close. Wait, I took a picture. I can count how many stories it was. Okay, it is a very blurry picture, but it seems to be 17 stories tall. Like, how? My mind just cannot comprehend that there are people who are that wealthy that they own those stuff. I cannot understand how someone can be that rich. And I'm out there having claustrophobia on flights because I have a total of 15 square centimeters of space to occupy with 7 other people. And I will never be able to afford to live with less than 356 housemates to split rent with. Like, that is so crazy. I don't think I will ever be able to comprehend the wealth some people have at their disposal. I cannot imagine what it must be like not to use the Little Plus app because it will save you 73 cents, let alone people who have hundreds of billions of euros. We might all be living on the same planet, but we are definitely not living in the same world. Anyways, I have a hot take on Amsterdam. If someone from Amsterdam is listening, I apologize to you for what I have to say, but Amsterdam low-key sucks. Don't get me wrong, it is pretty. There are interesting places to visit, but it is so overrated. Especially on weekends, I try to avoid Amsterdam as the plague. I don't understand the hype. I'm sorry. I know some people see it as their dream destination, but like, why? The tulip gardens are not in Amsterdam, so I don't count them. And museums and historical landmarks, I understand. But apart from that, what is the appeal? Is it the club scene? Is it the fact that weed is legal? But weed is legal everywhere in the Netherlands, not just Amsterdam. Is it just because it's the capital? Is it the red and blue light districts? But almost all cities in the Netherlands have those. And as for my expectations, which used to be really, really high when it came to Amsterdam, I blame John Green and The Fault in Our Stars. Writing a city in a way to make it be the make-a-wish thing for someone, for someone who's dying from cancer, definitely paints it like some sort of a magical place, some sort of a must-see. But Amsterdam is just not the it girl she's pretending to be. I don't know. I just don't understand how Amsterdam, especially recently, has become this touristy spot, this touristy haven. Like, I don't, if I didn't have to go there for a specific reason, I definitely won't. Sue me. Wait, no, don't sue me. I cannot afford a lawyer. Just silently disagree with me. That being said, guys, those cherries are calling my name and I desperately need to go eat some more until I get a terrible stomachache. Wait, but is this me sabotaging myself right before the wedding tomorrow? Well, tune in next week and find out. So guys, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Thank you for listening. I will see you soon. Bye!